morning, everyone. And this morning we're finishing up chapter 42, titled The Evolution of Consciousness from Merging with Śiva. And we're continuing in the middle of lesson 293 on consciousness and the chakras. As awareness flows through the first three higher chakras, we are in memory and reason patterns. We see the past and the future vividly and reside strongly in the conscious and subconscious areas of the mind. When awareness flows through the anāhata and vishuddha chakras, our point of view changes. We begin to see ourselves as the center of the universe. For now we are looking out and seeing through the external world from within ourselves. We look into the primal force within ourselves and see that the same energy is in and through everything. The chakras also relate to our immediate universe. Put the sun in the center, representing the golden light of Sushumna. The earth is the conscious mind, the moon is the subconscious mind. The vibratory rates of the planets are then related to the seven chakras. First chakra, mūlādhāra, to Mercury. Second, svādhishṭhāna, to Venus. The third chakra, Maṇipūra, to Mars, and so forth. In this way, if you know something of Vedic astrology, you can understand the relationship of the influence of the planets as to the formation of the individual nature. Depending upon the astrological signs, for they have the same rate of vibration as the planets. Now you can see how it all ties together. Through the knowledge of the chakras, you can watch people and see what state of consciousness they are functioning in. It is helpful to know that all souls are inwardly perfect, but they are functioning through one force center or another most of the time, and these force centers determine their attitudes, their experiences, how they react to them, and more. That's an important point Gurudeva made there. All souls are inwardly perfect. It's natural to think I'm perfect or I'm imperfect, right? One or the other, it's a choice. To think that we're both at the same time, that's what Gurudeva is saying. You're perfect, the inside of you, the soul, and you're imperfect, the outside. So the outside is never perfect, we just make it more refined. So, imperfect, but perfect on the inside. Lesson 294. Closing the door to lower realms. When at the moment of death you enter the astral plane, you only are in the consciousness of the chakras that were most active within you during the latter part of your lifetime, and accordingly, you function in one of the astral lokas until the impetus of these chakras is expended. Beautiful statement there. It is the chakras that manufacture the bodies. It is not the body that manufactures the chakras. Since you have 14 chakras, at least 3 are the most powerful in any one individual. For example, memory, will, and cognition. Each chakra is a vast area of the mind, or a vast collective area of many, many different thought strata. Generally, most people who gather together socially, intellectually, or spiritually are flowing through the same predominant chakra, or several of them collectively. Therefore, they are thinking alike and share the same perspective in looking at life. The chakras exist as nerve ganglia that have a direct impact on organs in the physical body, as psychic nerve ganglia in the astral body, and as spinning discs of consciousness in the body of the soul, Anandamaya Kosha. The power to close off the lower chakras, to seal off the doorway at the lower end of Sushumna, exists when the soul is presently incarnated in a physical body. All 14 chakras, plus 7 more above and within the Sarasvara, are always there. It is up to the individual to lift consciousness from one to another through right thought, right speech, right action, showing remorse for errors committed, performing regular sadhana, worship, pilgrimage, and heeding other instructions the Satguru or Swami might offer for personal guidance. All this and more teaches the pranas of consciousness, and most importantly, individual awareness, the art of flowing up through the higher chakras through the process of closing off the lower ones. So my comment is, the image of climbing the ladder of consciousness, each step on the ladder being a chakra, is one way to create a visual image of the concept of spiritual unfoldment. So climbing the ladder of consciousness, each rung is a chakra. Back to the text. Spiritual unfoldment is not a process of awakening the higher chakras, but of closing the chakras below the mūlādhāra. Once this happens, the aspirant's consciousness slowly expands into the higher chakras, which are always there. So, comment, that's a deeper way of looking at the statement I make regularly, that in Gurudeva's approach to the chakras, we're not trying to awaken the higher ones, we're trying to close off the lower ones. He's saying, simply closing off the lower ones, the higher ones become more and more more and more accessible, shall we say. You could imagine sound, all kinds of sounds going on during the day, but it's the loudest one that you're drawn to. That's the one you hear. And sometimes that's the only one you hear because it's so loud. But if you take away the loudest one, then you hear the other sounds, right? And then you take away the next loudest, you hear other sounds. So all the sounds are always there. And the lower chakras are like the loudest sounds. They dominate. So you're not aware of the other ones. The only thing that keeps the lower chakras closed is regular sadhana, japa, worship, and working within oneself. This is demonstrated by the fact that even great yogis and rishis who have awakened into the higher chakras continue to do more and more sadhana. They are constantly working to keep the forces flowing through the higher centers so that the lower ones do not claim their awareness. Now, all of this perhaps seems very complex and esoteric, but these are aspects of our nature that we use every day. We use our arms and hands every day without thinking. If we study the physiology of the hands, we encounter layer after layer of intricate relationships of tissues, cells, plasma. We examine the engineering of the structural system of bones and joints, the energy transmission of the muscular system, the biochemistry of growth and healing, the biophysics of nerve action and reaction. Suddenly, a simple and natural part of human life, the functions of the hands, seems complex. Similarly, we use the various functions of consciousness, the chakras, every day without even thinking about them. But now we are studying them in their depths to gain a more mature understanding of their nature. Actually, there are more chakras above and within the Sarasvara. Buddhist literature cites 32 chakras above, Agamic Hindu tradition cites 7 levels of the rarefied dimensions of Pranāhata. The first tattva is chanted daily by hundreds of thousands of priests during puja in temples all over the world. Their names are Vyapini, Vyomanga, Ananta, Anāhata, Anashrita, Samana, Unmana. I have experienced these higher chakras or nadis as they are in the subtle region as conglomerates of nadis. These 4 centers are not exactly chakras as they are not connected to any organ or part of the physical body. They are chakras or nadis of the body of the soul, which when developed as a result of many Parashiva experiences, slowly descend into the mental and astral bodies. The mental body becomes permanently different in its philosophical outlook, and the astral body begins to absorb and be transformed by the golden body, or Swarna Sharira. In my commentary, this is something you may not know. In the Shumchef language, these 7 nadi chakras relate to the 8th through the 14th dimensions. It's right in the lexicon. Unmana nada is the 14th dimension. Samana nada, 13th dimension. Anashrita nada, 12th dimension. Anāhata nada, or 11th dimension. Ananta nada, or 10th dimension. Vyomanga nada, or 9th dimension. Vyapini nada, or 8th dimension. And then in the Shumchef lexicon, it defines what's in each of these dimensions. Very interesting aspect of Shumchef that Gurudeva developed, but none of us have really studied it in depth. But it's there, if you're interested. Have a wonderful day.